If your AC isn't turning on at all, don't panic. There are a few things I'm going to have you check before calling your HVAC technician. And as an HVAC technician myself, these are the few things I check on every no cooling call. Let's jump right into the first thing, is your thermostat. Is it blank? If it is, pull it off the wall and see if there are batteries. If there are batteries, swap them out with brand new batteries, not the batteries that are sitting in your drawer for a long period of time. Reason being is because I've been called out to so many calls where the customer reassures me that they did replace the batteries, just come to find out that they've actually been expired 10 years ago. Now, what if your thermostat doesn't have batteries? This next step, you're going to have to go to your air handler or down to your furnace and check the blower compartment. And there should be a fuse where it looks like a 3 amp or 5 amp. And if it has the black mark in the middle, that means that it's blown. You can just replace the fuse, but just know that these fuses usually blow for a reason. And that's typically from a short, meaning that there is low voltage wiring that is connecting your thermostat to your air handler or furnace and all the way out to your air conditioner. And there could be a break or some type of damage to that wiring. While you're still at the indoor unit, I would also check to see if you have a wet switch or a float switch. If there's a wet switch and there's a red light on it, first thing you probably notice is that there's a bunch of water around it. And that means that there is a problem with your unit, likely a clogged drain line, which is really common. Now, the best thing to do is to take a shop vac and follow that drain line out to wherever it goes. If it goes to a floor drain, great. Unless if it goes outside, then try to locate it outside and put that shop vac on the end and vacuum it out. If you do have to do that, especially if the drain line is hard pipe, I would check to see if there is a trap, and if there is, I would pour some water in there first before turning the unit back on so that it will drain properly. And if you have a wet switch and there's a bunch of water around it, just vacuum up all the water. Now, if you don't suspect that it's actually leaking water because of a clogged drain, your evaporator coil could be freezing up. If it is frozen, that's likely due to lack of airflow or lack of refrigerant. Just make sure to double check your filter to make sure that it's not plugged and all of your vents are open. Before you go outside, go and double check your breaker to see if it's tripped. I run into this call a lot where customers again reassure me that they have checked the breaker and it looks completely fine. I want you to actually find the breaker for the air handler or furnace and the air conditioner and turn it all the way to the off position and all the way back on, because depending on the brand or how old the breaker is, sometimes you can't even tell if it's tripped or not. Now let's go outside. Now we need to locate your AC disconnect. And usually it should be really close to it, typically on the side of the house. So we're going to open this and check to see, one, if it's in the on position and if we see any visual damage to it. And I would strongly recommend that you turn off the breaker first, put it in, and then turn the breaker back on, because this is going to have 240 volts typically. If everything is looking good so far, now we're moving on to the next step where we're going to have to take the AC panel off of the unit, which is typically just a couple screws, which are usually 1/4 inch screws or 5/16 screws. When you've done that, you're going to see a part called the contactor, and there's going to be a bunch of wires going to it, both high voltage and low voltage. And the first thing I want you to check to see is if the button in the middle is pushed in. Some of these you can't see the button right away, and you're going to need a small Phillips screwdriver to take off a couple of the screws to pull the cover off. And again, before you do that, turn off the breaker and shut down the indoor unit so that no voltage can go to the outdoor unit, and do this at your own discretion. So let's say the contactor is pulled in. This could maybe mean that the contactor is bad, but it's not very common. What this basically is telling you is that we're getting 24 volts from the indoor unit being sent out here to tell the air conditioner, hey, we need to turn on. And that's why that button is pulled in. But nothing is happening. The likely culprit, which I'm sure that some of you guys have done the research on, is that it could be a bad capacitor. There are a few other things I want you to look at before determining that. Is there any fried wiring? And two, is the capacitor starting to bubble up? Those can be signs of a bad capacitor itself. If you do have a multimeter, this will take you a lot further. So on the two legs at the bottom of the contactor, we're going to want to turn your meter to volts and check to see if there are 240 volts. Have both leads on both sides at the same time. If you're getting 120, that's likely a problem where one of the legs is damaged. Not just at the contactor, but could be elsewhere. And if everything is looking good on your capacitor and you have that meter, you can turn it to microfarads. Make sure to discharge it with an insulated screwdriver safely before you touch any of the wires. Take all the wires off and then touch each lead to common, to Herm, common, to fan, and there's typically readings on the capacitor to let you know where it needs to be. And if those numbers are less than 10%, then you need to replace your capacitor, which there are plenty of videos on my channel showing you how to do. But what if the contactor is not pulled in? What now? Again, this is going to go back to the low voltage issue. Is there a short? Is the thermostat bad? Again, did you double check your fuse? Did you double check your float switch or wet switch? And again, I'm really trying to drill this into you because there are many times where even myself as a technician, I've missed some of the obvious cues. And I've seen anything from rodent damage to someone's son using a weed whacker and decided to chop up all the wiring. Just make sure to double check those things. One sneaky thing that might also keep the contactor from pulling in, besides being a bad contactor itself, is pressure switches on your air conditioner. Now, if you hover over the top of your air conditioner and look down at the two copper lines, somewhere along there you're going to see a random switch sticking out with two wires going to it. One on the skinny line, which is the liquid line, and the other on the thicker line, which is the suction line. The suction line one is low pressure, and if it's tripped, that could indicate that it's low on refrigerant. If the high pressure switch, which is on the liquid line, is tripped, that could indicate that it's overheating the unit or it has too much refrigerant. Now, if it's overheating, I would actually check your condenser coil to see if it's plugged up. That could mean that it's not getting enough air and it's overheating itself, and that's why the switch is tripping, which in that case, you can just take a garden hose and wash it off. And as you're washing, just push the dirt off of it. It's not going to look pretty, but this will get you through. And ideally, the best way to clean these coils is inside out so that you're pushing the dirt out of the unit and not pushing it further in. And please do not use a pressure washer. If you got your AC back up and running, congratulations. You should be an HVAC technician now. Just kidding. But if you could not get your air conditioner back on, there could be a deeper issue, and I would strongly advise you to call your HVAC technician. But again, make sure you share with them all the things that you checked here, because it's going to really impress them, and let them know that you know what you're checking and what you're talking about, so that you're less likely to get ripped off. You guys can see my email address. If you have any specific issues or questions, feel free to email me or comment down below in the video. That's where I'm going to respond much faster and I can help you out. If any of these checks helped you at all, please let me know down in the comments which one helped you. Consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And as usual, I'll see you guys on the next call.